So these factories making these devices are only gonna get crazier. We're already making circuitry here, so let's see just how crazy it's gonna get. But before that, we also need to work on a few of these things, like a forge hatch actually being functioning so we can load the smelter. Or I guess we have two of those. So the worry is actually smelting this stuff, which there should be an upgrade for that. Exactly, a forge attendant, which we should be able to get pretty soon as we can get all the circuit boards and widgets. So, not very quickly. And then we can see what else we can work with on some of these lower tiers here because we just keep unlocking more things. But this is also a lot of computational widgets that go into them. So we definitely need to work on that first. And so we can work on the making of these circuits on our own for a little bit, at least until we run out of things, because we need to be the one triggering the smelter, which we don't even have that much copper ore, so that's kind of concerning. But even making the copper mines costs so many widgets. But now we have the research done for the forge attendants, so that should actually be made pretty quickly because there's already a few computational widgets made. But of course, now the circuit boards are going straight in there. Thankfully though, everything gets made pretty quickly, so now the smelter has a attendant. So now we don't have to check on there again until we start to add more things. But speaking of more things, we might need some more auto miners here. Thankfully though, they are very cheap, at least at the beginning. And then we save up a few computational widgets to build one of these other auto crafters. We have plenty of plastic right now, right? Yeah, for a little bit. Circuit fabs is where we need a whole lot more production, so we can get 2 more auto crafters in the computational widget department. And now the numbers are starting to climb a little better, but we definitely need some more of these beginning 4 things. Or maybe just these middle 3. We definitely need another copper forge, I think. And might as well just queue up the rest of these additional buildings so we can get some more copper smelted. And we definitely need to turn up the plastic extracting too, because now that production is starting to match that consumption, which is a good indicator of a bottleneck. Thankfully though, we have plenty of oil for this. But let's also get the rest of these auto miners here. And I'm really glad these plastic auto crafters only need the capacitor widgets initially, but now we have all the workers in the copper mine. So at the very start, there shouldn't be a bottleneck. Now it's just a matter of working down the line and also making sure the circuit fab gets built because that is absolutely a bottleneck. Thankfully those auto workers are pretty quick, so now we have another circuit fab. So hopefully there should not be a shortage of circuits to go into the computational widgets. And then we will maximize this plastic factory and then hopefully maximize the smelter here. Because we are full on copper ore, now it's actually getting the stuff smelted because there's a lot of copper that goes into these things. Because yeah, even though we have a copper smelter completely maxed out, we are still like running net empty on ingots. So this other forge needs to be way better at its job. And then probably getting the research to increase the smelting speed. Okay, now we're looking really good on these circuit boards, but kind of low everywhere else. At least the copper ingots are catching up. So now I think we're in a good enough spot that we can get another copper mine in here to at least get going a little bit. Not quite the same level as the other one, but we can get 2 auto miners in here. Maybe a 3rd. And so that should help that part of the line. But now let's finish out this computational widget factory, which is going very well. We're making the widgets a whole lot faster now. And now that we have a lot of computational widgets stored up, which there should be a lot of these circuit boards too. Yeah, we're almost maxed out there. Good, that means we can get some of these upgrades right away too. Like the computational widget productivity and the component feeder, sure. So those are some more things that we can plug in and get done very quickly. It's just a little annoying that they're in 2 separate spots on the page instead of like building off of each other, but it all helps production, so I won't complain too hard. But now I think we also need a warehouse to be tier 4, so I'll go right up here. Now our storage will be even better, and we're almost in a good spot to start unlocking the tier 5 technology. Although we can just queue that up and then move things on top of it, like tier 4 mastery. And I do like the sound of this long distance upgrade, so we can get the widgets, or not the widgets, we're making widgets. We can get like the auto things from the world map. So let's get that going first, because it's also the cheapest out of all of these, I think. Yeah, it is. But now the plastic factory needs a huge boost because now that's the big resource in demand right now. And the good news is because that takes other things to make, some of these other upgrades can still get worked on. So now we have 2 maxed out plastic factories, and now we get the long distance upgrades. Beautiful. So doing things from the world map, I guess that's in the overview. Control click to buy cheapest worker or upgrade. Yeah, that helps. Get both of those queued up. That's very convenient. If you like looking at a spreadsheet, I guess. But now we're almost to tier 4 mastery, so we can make even more of these things by doing it manually. Which only then is it really worth it to do things manually, so we just do a little bit of math here. But sometimes we're only making one, which is a little interesting. But now all the things are in place, so the last thing to work on is tier 5 technology, which we should be on a pretty good pace for while keeping up with everything else. Okay, the circuit boards do need help, so we could help this a little bit. Not too sure how much this is helping though. It would probably help better if we got a second computational engine in here finally. My only worry though is how much this is gonna back up all the rest of production. But you know what, here, let's just work on maxing out this factory too, which is actually able to be done pretty quickly. But sure enough, the copper ingot usage is going down. The production is going below the consumption level. So I think we're gonna need a third smelter here. And then hopefully the copper mining doesn't take too big of a hit. Or at least if it does, we can roll this for a while because there's a lot of copper ore being produced. Okay, the plastic consumption is matching the production, but there's already a good amount of plastic, so I don't think we have to worry about that right now. Oh, but also the spinning widgets are way down. That would be another bottleneck. That makes sense. So let's back up in the line a little bit and see what's going on here. Basically just expanding these again. Which, is there an upgrade to help with that actually? Increases crafting speed when adjacent to but not on top of rocks. That sounds like a good idea. And then more crafting speed there. So there's plenty of rocks over here, so we could actually move all of these things over there while that upgrade is getting built. And then is adjacent diagonal? I guess we're gonna find out. And then make sure this fourth factory here gets all the upgrades, which thankfully, yeah, it can very quickly because it's all using technologies at this level. But hopefully that's not damaging production in the rest of the chain because we bounced back a little bit. Okay, thankfully the adjacent does seem to be diagonal because all of them are getting the bonus. That's very good. Do the rest of these get a bonus somewhere? Ooh, we can double warehouse capacity. Definitely want that. But then we have the sand productivity up. We should get the glass insertion up. And sure enough, we are just damaging our supply numbers all across the board. Yay! But now we can move these gyroscope fabricators next to the glass kilns, and they pretty much all can go next to them because they all benefit from the adjacentness. So that's a fun little diagram right there. And then I know the oil processing gets bonus from being on a swamp tile, so we can move those where even is a swamp. There's forest. Okay, the swamp is these brown things here. So we can just move all these down there. And honestly, it might be a good idea to just cover this whole thing in like oil processors. But now it's going to take a little while for production to catch up with itself. Making new things puts everything out of whack. But now the oil's getting bonus from the swamp finally. So the plastic should be in good hands there. Okay, and the power plant doubles adjacent to at least one oil field and another oil power plant. Okay, that'll be a little bit to figure out, but basically they need to be down by the oil as well. So one here and then next to it. Really want them to be in sequence, kind of just around the outside, I think is gonna be the best bet. Okay, now the copper ore is starting to see the same thing as the plastic where the demand is matching the supply. Okay, but now we have the logistics, so they all should be, yeah, gain double bonus. Excellent. Not that power was ever really a concern, but glad we don't need to worry about that. The max capacity is 800 now with all these things. That is amazing. And we caught up with these spinning widgets very quickly. So it's actually only a few more moments until we get tier 5. Beautiful. Oh, upgrade status. Highlights frames are not fully upgraded. That'll be helpful right before the tier 5 technology gets unlocked. Great timing there. But it will be good to see what things are not fully upgraded. But the plastic is actually at 0 now. How did that happen? I mean, we can build a third one of these because that only relies on oil to produce. So we quickly get that going. And then we should be good on plastic production. Production is going up while the consumption is staying constant. So that's a good sign. And now we have access to tier 5 technology, which only has 3 facilities. Interesting. Tesla coil. Ooh, this is something that costs power, which thankfully we should be able to do. Oh, and make sure we get the upgrade for these warehouses. I didn't realize we didn't get those. That would be why the things didn't double the capacity, right? So wait, was it 800 before being doubled? Not sure it was supposed to work like that, but now we have a Tesla coil. So we can call lightning? Oh, it goes up and then gets zapped. that generates quite a bit actually. But let's get an auto crafter here. And then the rest need the integrated widgets, which I guess are at the end of the line. Before that, we need a core foundry. Self-thinking machines. Are we making AI here? Oh, lovely. Yeah, grafting intelligence onto widget technology. Oh boy, going from rivets up to I am robot very quickly. Well, might as well just start summoning more lightning in a bottle. Okay, so the core foundry here, induce thought, which I guess is just the result of pressing these buttons, but we don't have enough circuits for that, or the computational widgets, because it's all going to making the integrator, and that is taking a while. And I think we do need another copper plant actually, because that's starting to fall behind. And I guess we can also see where this line gets the most benefit, which the only one that really does is the copper mines when placed on rocks. Okay, we don't have to worry about that right now, but now we do have some widgets, so it's progressing the bar a little bit, and then we make one, and then we go and make another one, and that is very slow. Get the auto crafter in here, please. And then it moves over to the integrator, repair circuitry. So it's just drag and drop, or just, you know, selecting it so it completes. Interesting little puzzle, but I don't want to do that again. Auto crafter time. So now we have kind of an automated line here for the integrated widgets. And the call lightning relies on glass and power. This relies on the capacitor widgets, and this also relies on capacitor widgets and bottle lightning. So definitely need another one of these Tesla coils here. And then I think we should be good on power. That has a capacity of 900? That must just scale up more than the other things, because everywhere else the capacity is only 300. But man, we definitely need more manual labor here to create things, because that's a lot of widgets that need to be made for the second Tesla coil. But of course we don't have enough of those anymore because this machine keeps using it all. So we definitely need more of these and a bit more manual labor here. Oh, and I totally forgot, we can get the tune spinners upgrade over here. So let's just get that for all of these things. And then the power plant as well as some of the oil fields, I guess. Interesting, I thought they were all maxed out. Well, they are now, but I do think we need more of the thinking core upgrades, because that takes a while to craft, and so does this. And then having the clone layout is going to be even more helpful, so let's make sure that's first. But also might as well finish off the second Tesla coil, because that's at 93%, because the thinking cores are in such high demand. Oh, and all the thinking cores are going to the synapse connector, because that's the most immediate one. And then they're going to the rapid coupler. All right, might as well finish those out, because we're gonna need them anyway. But if we're already making AI at tier 5, how much crazier is this gonna get? Like, where do we go from here? Okay, now we should start seeing the thinking cores going over to the integrated widgets. And this has the least amount of integrated widgets it needs, so let's put the auto worker up there, and then we have more lightning in a bottle going, and then we might as well get more warehouses next to here. That'll be for tier 5 with the upgrade. Ooh, and the next thing is area move. That would be helpful, but let's work on tier 5 mastery in the background, because that is going to be super helpful at this stage. So now we have a clone button down here where we do that, and then we select grids that we want, and then we can copy them. Nice. Let's move the warehouse out of the way here then, in that case, so we can get all of these to be cloned just over here next to everything. I like the look of that. So we can very easily double our production. Nice. I would do that in other spots, but we don't really need to. And now we have the synapse connector completed for the core foundry, so we can increase that crafting speed, which is gonna help as soon as we tell it that's the priority. Okay, so that should help the production speed here a little bit, but then we also need something here for the integrated widgets, so we'll prioritize that, and then probably just work in here a little bit. But man, some of these manual tasks are getting even more and more tedious. Oh, that was the wrong one. So my speed really isn't much different from the machine speed, to be honest. Would need this other one to increase productivity maybe to make it worth it. And the rapid coupler over here, but it's not going to that because it's down here. Okay, so all of the coveted integrated widgets that we need should be faster now. And you know what? A few more auto crafters in here, which should help doubling our factory here. So now we get another Tesla coil frame in place. And you know what? Just to keep things rolling, we might as well get tier 6 technology queued up just so we can run in the background. So we can start to make little bits of progress towards it as all the rest of these are going, which we probably should get more of these going. So our 4th Tesla coil is due to be maxed out. which is really feeding into our construction queue. But surprisingly, even though all these things are taking little bits and pieces from the previous tiers of technology, we're not really hurting. And I think a better plan for the warehouses is just to stack them next to each other in the different tiers. So this is number 4 and this is number 5. So all these can be next to each other, and then they can all be cloned right up here. And they all build very quickly. Plus they keep their upgrade status, which I like. I like that part of the cloning. Oh, but we actually nuked all of our basic widgets. Wow. And the spinning widgets. That's wild. But now all those should be up to speed. So now we can have even more capacity for everything, which I guess is only 500. Oh, good. We have a second integrator. Now let's work on maxing that out. And the core foundry. And then sure enough, all the things that we nuked are very quickly building themselves back up. At least I think so. There's a whole lot of capacitor widgets that are being consumed because those are key to a lot of production, I guess. Let's actually double these, which also doubles the construction queue for all their upgrades. And I like that. But then we should probably double up everything else too, except for the oil fields and power plants. I think we're good over here. Okay, and there is a thing for capacity bonus adjacent to at least 2 battery assemblers, but no other capacitor banks. So then we just gotta space these out a little bit, and then the capacitor banks can go right between them. And somehow we're hurting really bad in the sand department, so I guess we're cloning that too. And the widgets, wow. Cloning these and spacing them out like so. And then it seems like all the end level widgets for each of the tiers is what's hurting the most right now. And now the batteries are getting used just as much. All of these bottlenecks that just showed up out of nowhere. So we do need more of these, I think. So let's double up that. Oh, this is where the issue is. I forgot what the batteries needed. More iron ingots. Well, that allows us to clone all of these and expand them, which boosts how good they are at producing as well. So we can make at least one 3x3, which puts the smelter in the middle at 200% bonus. That should be really good as soon as we can get that. We'll need to move that up the chain though. All the basic technology needs to come first because that racks up the construction queue to 113. Oh goodness. Thankfully though, they all get completed very quickly and a lot of them at the same time, which is even better. Now, how is that affecting our iron ore capacity? We are consuming more, so we might need more of those. Thankfully though, there's plenty of rocks to boost them. So even though our iron ore was at 0, we should be able to outpace the consumption, I hope. And it looks like production is staying ahead, so that's good news. And wow, the queue dropped very quickly, all the way down to 30 already. So hoping once all this queue clears out, then all the production can roll pretty normally. And it's only a matter of waiting until we get to tier 6, which also only has 3 things. So we're kind of simplifying things, but we're also relying on everything else. So a silicon extruder, interesting. Get one of those in processor lab. And mainframe assembler graphs parallel processing capacity onto existing widgets. Weird. So we're making mainframes. We are creating like weird AI assemblies. And there's also so many more things available to us too, because we didn't even get everything from the last tier of technology. We need power. And there is like no power. How is there no power? So I guess we need more power plants. And wow, oil production is really hurting. So we definitely need more of those. Basically taking over this whole swamp here. And the capacitor widgets are also super down, even though we built more of these. I mean, these two are really the only things needed to advance the next tier of production, but it's kind of surprising that we ran out of that. Okay, so now we have things available, except for kind of sand. How is the sand being used so much? This is just becoming super tedious. So here, let's just boost the harvesting speeds of, yeah, all these things, which we could get right away, so that's helpful. And then even more harvesting speed. Ooh, and bigger warehouses. I like that idea. And of course, all these need the new upgrade, the bucket excavator, which thankfully is able to get right away. But these also involve updating every single thing we put down, so that's lovely. Okay, now we have things. We have a lot of things. So we just crank that to the side and max it out, and then it makes silicon one at a time. Gross. Get the automaker in there, which looks like a tanning bed. But then from there, processor labs, process slots, insufficient charge. What do you mean? Oh, bring up the rod like that. Okay, I see how it is. So we have this much time to crank out as many thoughts as we can, which makes microprocessors. 740 kilohertz clock rate. I have no idea if that's fast, but we're just gonna automate that. And then from there, we go to the mainframe assembler. Whoa, so now we have actual proper matrix over here where we have to catch the data streams. This is so bizarre. Like, every single one of these machines is unique in how they make things. That is wild. But we do need more mainframe widgets to actually do that, so we need more processors. Just enough to make one more or a few more of these. Oh, and I just remembered, this thing was down in the queue. Need you up. And then need much more silicon being made. Okay, but now we should be able to make enough mainframe things to make the autocrafter here. Okay, so we're doing this again. But how's the rest of things looking? Batteries are very weak right now as far as how they're being made. And these spinning widgets are kind of hurting. But let's see, we can get 2 more capacitor banks over here. And the basic widgets are in such high demand. Thankfully though, we can double these pretty quickly without interfering with anything else. Just a matter of nuking our iron ingot supply first, because the more of these we make, the more expensive they get. Which reminds me, we can make more of these widget spinners and put them up here, because these iron mines are on top of rocks, so they should get the bonus there. And same pattern, just get this tier 7 running in the background. And thankfully we are getting more technology for the sand pit, this matrix duplicator, so that can help things out. And thankfully the first one is so cheap. Actually, I think that's just how cheap they all are, but the mainframe takes so many things to get going because there's so many thoughts that need to be processed. Absolutely need 2 of these going because it needs 2 to make the mainframe. And since these sand pits only take 1 mainframe, we can get a lot of them done in a row. And by a lot, I mean very little because this takes a while. But now we have 2 of these auto crafters going here, so we should be able to make a few microprocessors at a time. And thankfully all the upgrades that we got lets our capacity get all the way to full again. And this also means that we can get another warehouse in, or 2 warehouses, because we are just keeping up this whole train. And now I think we just need to work on maximizing these factories as soon as possible. And they can all happen before the warehouse upgrade because they only take a few at a time. Also, is it just me or did we get access to more of the map? Because I don't remember all this being up here before. So now the silicon extruder gets all of the automation, and the processor almost, just a few short moments, and now that's going fully, so hopefully none of this is hurting too bad. Although the consumption of the iron ingots is insane right now, but it's also kind of going back and forth, so I think we're good on that actually. And then we do need to boost some of these other things. You know how the process goes. Oh, but also reducing the exponential cost. Absolutely need this. And we're still finding new upgrades in this tier 1 area, which there was this one, but there is also this one now. But it's really hard to tell if we actually need anything right now, aside from the warehouse here. Ooh, but now we have the shelf stacker unlocked. So that's even more storage in here for doubling it again. So the capacity is an extra 400. And that's per warehouse too. So we have a maximum of 800 it looks like. Aside from power, because that's in a league of its own. Oh great, but now the gyroscopes are being absolutely melted through right now. So more of these need to be made, which also needs basic widgets, of course. Just leave it to more technology to throw everything out of whack. Although we can upgrade the gyro production as well, pretty much right away. So that's even faster crafting speed. And then the iron ingots are also incredibly weak, so we need to upgrade this again, which doubles smelter capacity and increase smelting speed by double. And we can queue up more furnace loading speed, but maybe not right away, or that's the only thing left. Okay, we can work on that and then make sure they get the upgrades. So it's actually like half of the upgrades for the gyro factory. Very cool. And that's actually all the pieces for the smelter. Oh, but we're missing one. Only one though. And the amazing thing is we're actually making these things really quickly. They stack up very fast. How many more things are left for the widget factory here? Not many. And there's more double stack conveyors, so we can get even more upgrades for that. And that's actually the last piece. Beautiful. So a lot of our early machines are working very fast. Look at how fast this is actually. Oh my goodness. That I feel like is gonna melt through the iron ore like crazy. So we definitely need to clone more of those. Get all of these going up here and then just fill in more of the gaps. And thankfully we did get this piece where that reduces the exponential cost, because my goodness, that would be going crazy. And here, let's just quickly unlock the eagle eye. Ooh, highlight all frames of a given type. Sure, we got both of those very easily. So now we can see how many of each of these things we built, which we have 26 iron mines. Is that rookie numbers?
Moly.
I don't know if that's rookie numbers, but here, definitely cloning at least half of these and putting them over here, and then filling in some more 9x9s so they can all go right next to each other there for even more crazy iron production. And now the computational widgets and that tech tree is experiencing a bottleneck. Circuit boards, where are those going? Oh, they're going here. That makes sense. And we didn't really build too many of those, so let's just clone that again. And then probably this as well. Okay, the max capacity is actually 900. That's way better. And we haven't really done much to upgrade those two things either. So what's the most? Doubles when surrounded on all sides by frames or impassable terrain? Interesting. I want it. And probably this one too, not adjacent to another computational engine. So spacing these out a little bit. Exactly that much. So we could actually put those down here, in between all of these things. That should help. Starting to clean this up a little bit. But man, those mainframe widgets still take so long to make. You know what? We might need to double all this already. So we're gonna do it, which adds so many things to the queue so fast. But thankfully they're still not that expensive because we haven't made very many. Although those circuit boards are still gonna be a massive bottleneck trying to get this going forward. So I think it's time we actually make more of these. And then we can actually stick them at the end of the world over here. Oh, so that does expand the map, but surrounded by impassable terrain. So we're putting them down here on this tiny little island. One more right down here, and then we can get two more there. So this entire little island should have a big production boost because impassable terrain as well as frames. But they kind of need that worked on too. At least we are getting more frames made. Okay, so this tiny little island should be running at capacity. Ooh, and we are starting to get more of the other factories made, so that's good news too. And before I forget, this tier 6 mastery as well. And all these other things, which we actually got this one like right away. Very cool. So that'll help, and that was instant as well. But of course, everything else takes a bit. And man, the copper ingots are being chewed up like crazy as well. Time to double these. And probably double these while we're here. And also get that upgrade so the mines work better in the rocks, which was instant. In the drill motors, which is not as instant, but it'll get there. And also this area move would be good too, which we have right away, thankfully. So then how does that work? Copy tool and then control. So we move them right to the rocks over here. Beautiful. And then we can't move these yet until we build them, but we could actually just cancel these and then clone them somewhere else. In a few spots, I think. There's a good 9x9 here for rocks. 9x9, 3x3. That makes 9. So their boost isn't great compared to other things, but it should still be helpful. And then a few more copper smelting upgrades to increase loading speed, and somehow we don't have enough for... Okay, now we have enough for the attendant. We didn't before, but now that loading speed is looking a lot better. And now we can get the speed upgrade for the copper mine. Just shoving all of these to the top of the queue. Oh, and we finally got the technology for agoraphobia. So now these are getting the speed bonus. Oh, even better. Now we just have to hope we are using plastic too fast, and we are using plastic way too fast. But those did get an upgrade thing as well for being next to an oil field, so we can start working on that next. So many shiftings around. And we're putting the plastic extractors in the forest too to be next to the oil fields. Well, we are making artificial intelligence already, so what's a couple of trees? But more than that though, we just need more plastic plants in general. So the oil field can be surrounded on one side by all of those. And maybe went a little overboard on the copper mine frames and all those things before we even had any more computational widgets in here. Maybe we should just work on this a bit. Can I even rotate this? I can't. It's kind of annoying, but we can still get more of these in and probably shove all of these to the top. We also have no thinking cores, so where did those end up? And it all comes down to the computational widgets and the circuit boards. Ooh, but we are getting more upgrades here, so those are still getting put in place. It's just taking a little bit because the circuit boards are in high demand pretty much everywhere because the plastic is in shortage. So the plastic needs to be at the top of the queue. And thankfully, once the frame is in place, all the upgrades for it are pretty quick to follow because we already have so many of those things. Hopefully though, the oil production can keep up. Okay, so all the new plastic things are in place, and then all the computational upgrades are pretty quick to follow. Good. So let's also bump the upgrade for production speed, if we can manage it, which we can manage this first one, which means they all get an upgrade here in pretty quick fashion. Okay, so the plastic is still at a need of 1:1, but the production itself is getting higher, so that's promising actually. Oh, we got a new upgrade for the smelters, which is even more smelting speed. So even though those are down the queue, they don't really need as much, so they actually completed first. Still need more cores, so both of those get cloned. And then yeah, probably more of these two. And we don't even have the computational engine upgrade yet. So let's bump that quick because it's almost done. And man, all these things get completed so fast when that frame is in place. Oh yes, the standalone is going good. So now the computational engine have even better speed. So hopefully soon we'll see more green bars, solid green, but the batteries are hurting too because of something, but the oil is hurting as well. So I think we gotta take over another swamp, which there's a lot to go around, but there is one right here. So we're just going to copy a whole bunch of these down, and basically everywhere there's a swamp tile, there's gonna be an oil field, which is a lot. Might have gone overboard a little bit. We might not need this bottom half at all. So we'll take out this bottom half, which should calm things down a little bit. And you know what? Anything below this frame, down here, below these ruins parts, either solid green or nothing at all. There's not really a middle ground here, but the widgets, the spinning widgets are also super low. And then the glass kilns and gyroscopes need new things as well. So we're just gonna copy this whole chain here. That should work. A casual 252 items in the queue as well. Wow. Okay, starting to see some more greens on the board. That's good. And the glass is starting to come back, which is even better. The spinning widgets are still hurting, but that's because there basically isn't any gyroscopes right now. Gonna need way more of these. And of course, that means the basic widgets are hurting. Our consumption is nearing 100 per second. That is wild. It's even more wild how quickly the iron ingots disappear, even though we're making so many at a time. And actually the iron ore is hurting now. Wow. First time in a while I've seen that happen. So more of those need to be made right along this mountain range. Pretty much everywhere, I think. So there's all those that are shoved away at the bottom of a almost 500 queue. Trying to fix production here, but half of it just seems like should just let it roll. But ain't nobody got time for that. And very slowly, we're starting to see the things populate the map again. And very quickly, the queue empties out as well. The funny thing is, with all of this, we haven't really made a mainframe widget in a while, because I guess it's all coming back to the batteries not being made very quickly. So probably more of these being made, which I don't even know if there's an upgrade for the batteries right now. Oh, there is. When not placed adjacent to or on top of water or swamp. Interesting. Get a couple of those that we can. And then a depletion recycler here, which goes in right away. And I don't think any of them are next to water or swamp. Everything is having a boost to production. At least everything that we have access to, with the exception of this tier. And all these oil fields still haven't been made. They're almost there, but they take so many capacitor widgets too. But now there's an upgrade we can put in here for integrated productivity, which again is a chance to make double. Ooh, tier 6 mastery. Oh, good. So we can manually make things if we had the things to make. But before anything else, we need more batteries. And these ultra-fast widget synthesizers only cost 1, so we can get those going, even though I'm not sure the basic widgets really need the boost right now. But the capacitor widgets definitely do. At least it seems like they're coming back. Ooh, and we got another battery upgrade. Rapid heat exchanger. As soon as we can make mainframe widgets again, this will be a very quick upgrade. And thankfully we are making mainframe widgets again. We're finally getting these technology boosts that they can get. Rapid circuit integrator for more crafting speed. Prioritizing that like right away. And the other upgrade is available now for that productivity bonus. And all the batteries are getting their goodies too. So now actually, once we queue everything up here, we should look at some of these other things. The power is still needing some major boosting. So a couple of those over there, which isn't helping the power out too much. So we'll have to build them on the corners here. And our production is looking so good that everything is staying topped up. Even though things like the iron ingots take a big hit, they bounce back like instantly. And the thinking cores are slowly making their way back. What other upgrades can we get actually at the lower tiers? Maybe for them. Oh, great. Not adjacent to any other frames. Kind of like the computation things. Or it's just for them being next to each other. But these things can't be next to anything. So we could just space those out kind of in here, I think. Just to make it easy. I mean, I know the Tesla coils get something. Exactly 2 other Tesla coils, but no other frames. Which kind of makes this 4th one a little pointless. So I guess we can scrap this to get some things back and then clone this setup just to make that a little better and build instantly as well. Oh, interesting. So the copper smelters do get a boost by being placed on a forest, and we have a large swath of forest right down here. So easy migration and doubled speed. Okay, and now very slowly we're working on tier 7 technology again. I will say though, the additional time it takes to reach every tier here on after is real, because the last one took, it said 6 hours, but I think that's a cumulative. Okay, the capacitor widgets are hurting again, so we'll get 2 more of those over here, but they're still down by almost like 10, and the consumption is also going down. So I think we're okay there. Oh, wait. Taking a sneak peek at the upgrade names here. Tier 7, uranium power drills. Are we finding nuclear technology here? Fallout, uranium mine, nuclear, what? Okay, nukes. New motivation unlocked. Feeling a little risky, but we're gonna clone all of these. Just because those mainframe widgets take forever to make. It's a little weird to say, but a queue of 50 items is actually very manageable right now. So at least the silicone factories are very easy to make. And sure enough, as we get more of these, the upgrades that require the mainframe widgets get completed so much faster. This is way better already. I don't even really know how it's affecting the total production supply chain. Circuit boards look like they're hurting, which is, you know, par for the course with this sort of thing, but it's not hurting too much. So I guess we need another island dedicated to circuit boards. Or just, you know, being surrounded by frames. So we can clone this one and get a couple of them going in here and these little nooks. And then is there a hole anywhere else? Over here. And then 2 more over here, which expands the map way more this way. But man, the ripple effect going down the production chain is insane. Need more copper ingots made now, which thankfully these only require the copper ore to be mined. And the tier 7 technology unlock is still progressing very nicely, even though we're working on other things. It's exactly what I wanted. And of course, because of that, we need even more copper mines going in as well. So more of those down here and then over here. And all these 3x3 grid spaces, which are very convenient. Oh, but man, everything just starts hurting as like a crazy ripple effect. But hey, we reached tier 7 in 5 hours. Okay, I guess I was wrong about the other one. But we did it. Nuclear power, uranium mines. We are making nuclear, okay, wait, cloud widgets. We're uploading to the cloud here? Oh man, it just gets even crazier. Need to, at the very least, get these things going. Okay, there's 4 things going here. So uranium mine, and then fuel rod, nuclear power plant, and the cloud digitizer into an ethereal cloud form. We are just transcending the limits of everything. Okay, so we gotta hold this to burrow down here, which is crazy. And it takes so long to get something too. Just gonna get an auto miner there right away. Assuming we can get the mainframe widgets. Why can't we get the mainframe widgets now? Oh, maybe it's because we still need so many for these things. I didn't realize that we didn't make the last 2 things, but we do have the fuel rod assembler here. So, whoa, this takes so many things. A gyroscope, iron ingots, uranium, and power. So what do? We flip this and it drops in there. Oh, it's got physics. Finally, something with physics. Just dump all of these in here, I guess, until it's full. Does it even get full or does it back up? Oh, that just fell off. Whoops. And then refine it, insert. Oh, we have to drag and drop this. Oh, weird. And whoa, that's quite a massive tether. It's like a uranium gel, like sticky hand, the bane of like every teacher's existence, at least in the 2000s. Okay, but then we can refine that, and it's only 1 piece at a time, but that gives us a few rods already. And whoa, orbiting the smelter here. It's also weird that these uranium pieces almost look like baby dolls or something. It's very weird. Just refine all of them down. Nuclear babies. Okay, so we have a few of those, and then the next step isn't even available yet because reasons, I guess. But anyway, we can afford an auto crafter in some respect. Man, that mainframe widget production line gets backed up so easily because that's already empty. and the microprocessors are even slower. At least all the other upgrades happened. So we're back down to a few things here. And man, this costs power to mine uranium as well. So the power is gonna be taking quite a hit moving forward. And now we have a nuclear power plant. So, whoa, wait. Oh, I thought it was gonna create another like resource. No, it's an actual like power plant. So we line all these up and then start it. And then values change. Do I have to change them back? I don't think I do. And there's 39 more power there. Oh, this would be a great thing to do. Auto shutdown triggered. What do you mean? Everything is lined up. Storage full. Really? Fine. Get some more mainframe widgets in there. So at least the storage is full, which I guess is not a good thing, but at least now we can make even more power without having to rely on the oil fields. That is so nice. And a cloud digitizer is the last thing. Whoa, finalize upload sequence. And it takes 99 power to do this? No wonder we're making power plants and mainframe widgets, because of course. Okay, so what do I press these? So we have to memorize the buttons that are pressed and then press them all, and that's making cloud widgets. Man, all these little mini games is so interesting. There's so many different ones. And like, yeah, the mining ones are kind of similar, but they're different enough. And now we're making cloud widgets, which unlocks the path for tier 8 technology with names like widget insertion, wait, minitizers? Atom placement, oh, we're growing quantum with this. There's literally a quantum tunneler. Oh gosh, okay. I think this is enough for right now. We are halfway through the technologies. If we look at the warehouse here, halfway through them, more so actually. And then, okay, I do kind of want to rearrange these warehouses. So 6 over there, 5 over there, just move these over here, no problem. I wonder if there's a warehouse upgrade for actually being placed on like ruins or something, because there's gotta be a use for that. But the next upgrade here is tier 8, extra dimensional storage lockers. Wow. But here, let's just get 2 more of these in here for tier 7. Along with the upgrades, even though we're nowhere near filling that yet, and we just threw all of production out of whack doing all of that. But I think that's a good place to end things. Our production is just really maximizing right here. Look at how much ground we're covering, and clearly there's more that we can discover. So it can get really crazy, but nuclear power is crazy enough for right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see this continue, then be sure to let me know. Thank you for watching, and sub to Intern. And I would like to thank the channel members, including Bread, Corby Farm, Dakota, Donamoto, Devion X, Ancient Elixir, Matthew, Hateful Herald, Peggy Sue, Drupalong, Lily, The Miner Within, The Garrity, Sans, Isaac, V, Killer Squad, Mousy, and Nicholas.